Welcome to The Author's Journey with #1 international best-selling author and in-demand publisher, Rebecca Hall Gruyter. Today, we'll showcase the works of an amazing best-selling author, find out the story behind their book, and explore ways to bring your message powerfully forward. Now, here's your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter.
Welcome, everyone. So honored to be connecting in with you on the author's journey as we talk to amazing best-selling authors, powerful experts that pull back the curtains and really share with us what the journey has been like and tips, advice, things they have discovered they're going to share with us today from their heart, their experience, their wisdom to ours. So I'm very excited to have you joining us. I want to encourage you to be fully present, which means fully present, not multitasking. So let's take a breath. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Beautiful. Just taking a moment to catch up with ourselves. We get so busy. We sometimes don't stop and just listen and be poured into. And this is a time for you as a listener to receive. So I encourage you, have pen and paper ready. Be fully present, taking a moment to slow down a little bit so you can truly hear what is here for you to serve you, to support you, and empower you on your journey. Well, I'm very excited to introduce our first amazing, or I should say our amazing guest. I'm so used to having multiple guests on a show. It's so exciting to have an opportunity, have one guest and go deeper. So I'm very excited to introduce our guest to you, Dr. Kimberly Sher. She is a teen breakthrough expert and founder of Academy for Independence. She specializes in academic coaching and personal development. She is a podcast host, an international best-selling author of Unstoppable Teens, has over 20 years experience working with parents and teens as a teen breakthrough coach, an expert in schools and private institutions. Dr. Kimberly is passionate about taking a stand for teens, their voice, and their dreams. Please lean in and warmly welcome the powerful Dr. Kimberly Sher to the show. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here, Rebecca.
I am thrilled to have you joining us and wanted to start our conversation with why? Why this work with teens that you dedicate so much time and energy and podcasts and teaching and resources to? Why is this an area of work that is so personally important to you?
Wow, I am so passionate about teens because I really just want to help them kind of get into more of an unstoppable mindset and reach success and self-acceptance now as opposed to later in adulthood, and hopefully helping them to create more of a life of ease for them than of struggle.
Beautiful. And does any of this tie into some of your journey that you thought, I really want to help teens out. I want to make this easier. I want to help them step into confidence. Is that something you struggled with, or is it something you saw someone struggle with that it really became your work's passion and what you do in the world?
Absolutely. It's definitely tied into my story. I was a very introverted, shy middle schooler. I didn't have a whole lot of self-esteem, and I had an older brother that I always felt that I was in his shadows of. He was just stellar in my eyes, and so I felt like I could never catch up to that, so to speak. And when I entered high school, things started to shift, but I ended up identifying more as the rebel, and then my grades declined. And again, seeing me in high school, you would have never thought that I would have been accepted into any college. And yet I was. And it was at that point that I made a very conscious choice in realizing that now it's up to me, if I want to pursue psychology and go to graduate school, my grades mattered, and I turned my situation around. And because of all this, I believe that any teen can turn their situation around, as I did. So, but I'd rather them do it now rather than wait until college or beyond.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate that. And for any teens listening out there or parents, just plugging into that a little bit more to just see how, if you identify with part of that, or the teen does, whether it's the rebel or the shy and perhaps feeling like you're not measuring up, that Dr. Kimberly's walked that path and also walked the path to be able to find her firm footing and build the life that she wants, and do so with confidence and great purpose. So I hope that gives everyone listening courage and hope, and knowing that you can too. And I love that you want to help people do it sooner rather than later. I think that's important. And I know that's part of why you've created so many resources, from decks of cards to create powerful interaction, to journals, and to your amazing book that supports both parents and teens. It has different parts to it. So I'd love for you to share a little bit of your vision of your book, why you created it, and what you're hoping it does for people in teens' lives and in their families. What are you hoping the impact will be from your book?
That teens, do have greater confidence and better relationships with their parents, and that they have some skills to give them an advantage in school and in life. And that's really, and to help them discover their purpose, and other things. So that's my primary reason for the book. And, very important component of that is having their parents' support. And so that's why I wrote the book for parents and teens, because I believe that you can teach the teens the skills and support them, and they can gain the confidence. But parents need to know what they're being taught, so that when the teens are in the home, they can be supported there as well.
Beautiful. Well, I found your book so empowering and insightful. And I love that you're coming alongside both teens and parents and empowering both, because I think there is such stretching and growing on that happens, and boundaries and all kinds of things, and testing of boundaries that happens during those teen years, that I think it's so amazing that you have created this book that helps people in such a powerful way and such a positive way. So coming alongside the teens, but also coming alongside the parents, so they're empowered and equipped to empower and equip their teens as well. Anything you'd like to add to that?
That was so beautifully stated. Thank you. It is really true. And the other piece to the book is that on the teen section, I tried to include a lot of quizzes and practical hands-on exercises to make it a little more fun with learning the concepts and discovering more about themselves. And also even some neuroscience on a very simple scale, so it's not too boring, but enough so that teens and parents understand also how the brain, what's really going on a scientific level as well with their development.
Wonderful. Thank you. I appreciate you sharing and adding that in, because it's such a rich, powerful book that I think just empowers and educates and supports on so many different levels. I love your book, and I'm excited
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome that we get to dig in and talk a little bit more about it today. We are getting ready to go to our first commercial break. And as we do that, listeners, I want you to take a moment and just feel in and see if some of what Dr. Kimberly has shared with you has sparked something, touched an idea, has you leaning in. Take a moment to just kind of check in, feel in, write any thoughts or notes that are coming to your heart and spirit. And we'll look forward to continuing our conversation in just a moment.
Join Rebecca Hall-Greider every week for her new podcast, The Author's Journey. Spend some time getting to know best-selling expert authors, discuss and listen to their journey, and find out what works for them and what hasn't. If you're an aspiring author, you'll want to hear their amazing tips that help you in your own author's journey. Each program helps you discover your own gifts and bring them and your message forward. The Author's Journey. Listen for new episodes on the Voice America Variety Channel.
Are you ready to move to your next level? Listen for Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with host Rebecca Hall-Greider. Each show will focus on a central topic with discussion, guests, and your questions being featured. Our show is perfect for women who feel a call in their heart to step out in a bigger, more powerful way in their life and just need some encouragement, inspiration, and practical steps to support them on their journey. Empowering Women, Transforming Lives can be heard live every Thursday at 11 a.m. Pacific Time, 2 p.m. Eastern Time on the Voice America Influencers channel. And join us for a replay of the show on Wednesday at 2 p.m. Pacific Time, 5 p.m. Eastern Time on the Voice America Empowerment channel.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed that moment, having a time to just stop and pause and gather your thoughts. And we're getting ready to continue our conversation with the powerful Dr. Kimberly Sher. And she and I were talking behind the scenes a little bit about how I wanted her to share some of her author's journey. And she laughed, and there was a response. And I think it's wonderful to have these amazing best-selling authors that are willing to be candid with us and to really share what their journey is really like and the things that worked and the things that perhaps didn't. So as you are on your journey, you now have that information and can take that input in and then see what is going to be most supportive of you in bringing your messages forward, your books forward, your presentations forward, whatever way you're called to bring your message forward. It's such a gift to have people who have been there, done that can come alongside us and pour their wisdom and their insight and experience into us. So welcome back, everybody. Dr. Kimberly, I wanted to, before we go too deep into the journey, I wanted to talk about a couple of things, because not only did you bring your powerful book forward, you also created journals and decks of cards that can be used in different ways. And I wanted to, for anyone who caught that in the opening segment, I wanted you to have a moment to expand on that a little bit, to share what those things are.
Well, thank you. I'm delighted to do so. First of all, I have two journals that are companions to the book, Unstoppable Teens Journal and an Unstoppable Parents Journal. And it has some inspirational quotes that hopefully get teens and parents to think of, maybe prompt them with some ideas. But I think that the journals are an important companion, I guess, to the book, because I often recommend journaling as one way to process through our feelings and thoughts and getting those down on paper. So it's very helpful and helps reduce stress as well. So.
And the journal, I wanted to just share, they're different, because I know that was really important in the creation.
Correct.
The parent journal is different than the teen journal, and the teen journal, in fact, has a confidential stamp on it to help emphasize how different they are, because the journey is different.
Very, very true. And it's really important for teens to feel like they have a safe, confidential place, I guess, to go to with their raw feelings. And that just encourages them to feel comfortable to write out their hearts, so to speak.
Beautiful. And then you created these decks of cards. Do you mind explaining a little bit about what those are?
Yes, and I love the cards because while your teen may be private with their thoughts and feelings in their journal, the cards are nice because it's a way to open up conversation and get a little bit more deeper with your teen, so they are talking with you. So I kind of, I consider both sides of the equation there. So I have the family Chatterbox cards, which can actually just, at dinner, you can share them and they have questions like, what does success mean to you? What are your, some of your strongest values, et cetera. So it gets teens to think about those things, but it also allows the parents to really get insight into what their teen's thinking and hopefully open up a discussion. And then I also have the Teen Convo cards, which is a different set of questions for teens to share with their friends and just go deeper in their connection with their peers.
Beautiful. And how do people get the journals, the book, the cards? What are the best way to find these resources?
Thank you. They can either contact me directly or go on my website at AFI4me.com, and especially for the cards. And the journals and the book can also be through my website, but also through Amazon. Can be found on Amazon.
Perfect. Thank you for sharing. I just love, again, the full range of tools and resources that you're making available for teens and for families. Now, these are a lot of things that you've created, correct? Like lots of materials.
Yes.
It's a very powerful book with a lot of great information. It has two sides, one side for parents, one side for teens. And so this is a lot to bring forward. So my question is, how did you find a way to go from ideas, I should say, to having it real and shared out into the world? What are some of the things that helped you go from idea concept to reality and then sharing it with the world?
On a very general level, I want to say that it was encouragement to write the book in the first place and also having ongoing support through the process. I believe that's critical pretty much with most things in life. So I'm not sure I would have completed my book without the support and encouragement that I received. And then to actually go from idea to, reality, for me, it was just starting. Again, I had the idea, was pumped up about it. It was exciting. And just the idea of a book and so forth was really cool. But I do remember that at first I was really scared I wouldn't have enough to write. I don't know why I thought that, but I did. And then I'm like, well, just go for it. And it ended up that I had written so much that I'm hoping, not yet, but in the near future of writing a second book. And I have some of the content for that already from the first book. So I had plenty to definitely write about. And then it was just, yeah.
Oh, beautiful. I love that, but doing that, writing it, bringing forward, facing your fear even that you didn't have enough to write about, but instead you started anyway and discovered you had lots to say, lots to share,
Correct.
Which is great. And then in the journey, you also got your book endorsed by Dr. Don Gray, Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. I was curious about how that felt and any insight or direction you have around getting endorsements like that.
Oh boy! Well, how it felt and how it still feels it's an honor, and I'm very proud of that endorsement. And as far as suggestions on just really it's reaching out. I actually met Dr. Gray and attended a workshop, and so I was able to share with him my book and then the manuscript at the time, and and then just ask him for the endorsement. It was pretty easy, but I did have one-to-one time with him, to where we could discuss what the book was about and so forth. So that helped, obviously.
So that direct connection, and then asking.
Correct.
I think sometimes we shrink back a little bit. So that's beautiful. And then on the journey, were there things that surprised you? Like, one surprise was you had way more to say than you realized you had when you started writing.
Mm-hmm.
Were there surprises along the way on your journey that you didn't anticipate? And they can be good, they can be challenges, but things that surprised you.
Well, one thing that has surprised me on that journey, it may seem simple, but writing can be really messy. And I didn't realize that this is so true, because I'm the rebel and I'm okay. I'm pretty flexible and I can go with the flow, and I love creativity. But with the writing, I was surprised. I didn't like that there were so many pieces at once, or, for example, you get an inspiration or a thought and you jot that down, and then, you need to come back to it and develop it and expand it and so forth. And then another idea might come. And so then it's writing that. So I felt like it was messy for me. And what surprised me was I really liked the organization of, okay, chapter 1, write chapter 1, good, done, check off list, go to chapter 2. And that is not the writing process. So I was surprised that I actually appreciate structure. I didn't realize I did as much as I do in the writing process, and how much organization is super important to me. And I just, for a time there in the writing process, I didn't feel very organized. But the beautiful thing about it was that you just, I did go with the flow of when I was hit with an idea or I felt like writing this, and in the end, it does all come together, and that feels amazing.
Beautiful. Beautiful. So with that, as it all came together, one of the things that you leaned into doing was doing a best-selling campaign and sharing it out in a big way and being kind of the central figure, the spokesperson for the launch as you shared it with the world. What are some of the things you experienced in that? Was it exciting? Were you nervous? How did it feel when you hit international bestseller? Just love to know some of that experience.
Okay, sure. I'd love to share that. But I just want to, on the last question, also state that through the writing process, it was a huge transformative experience for me. Really grew a lot through it, and as well as my confidence. So I just want to put that out there. And anybody thinking of writing a book, I'm supporting you with it, because it's an amazing journey personally and in a evolutionary way. So
Beautiful.
okay, back to the current question. Yes. The book launch, oh my gosh, that was also, what a wild ride. That was, that was like being on top of the mountain, and it was so much fun. And, and then, watching the results and posting and really sharing out. So the whole experience was, definitely highly recommended. That was really fun, doing a book launch and best-selling campaign.
Oh, love it, love it, love it. Good. And what did it feel like when you hit international best-selling author, then you order your print books, and they come and they have that ribbon on it, and now they're in your hand? What did that moment feel like? That you're holding what you've been working on for so long is now in your hands?
It's what comes to me is, pinch me. Is this real? It's such a euphoria. I mean, it's amazing to actually hold, something concretely in your hand that you've worked so, put so much dedication and effort towards, and that this is what I created. It's like, wow, I'm still like that with the book. It's that hasn't gone away. And it was released in January, so it's pretty awesome.
Oh, I love it. I can hear you smiling, and I know you have that book right there with you. So I love it, love it, love it, love it. So any advice or tip that you would give our listeners? I know you said anyone who has a book idea or something in them that's calling, start writing, bring it forward. I know that you are encouraging them in that. Any other advice, tips, advice that you would like to give them?
I think what comes to my mind in this moment hearing you say that is that if you have an idea, I truly believe that idea came to you for you to express it and to bring it forward into the world. So I think that that's helpful to maybe consider that. And to honor that. I feel like when you have those ideas, you're being called to make it a reality and contribute to the world because we need it. And so I would, my tip is just please follow that because we need to hear whatever it is that you want to write about. And that's why it was given to you for your story.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. Listeners, as we get ready to go to our next commercial break, I encourage you to take a moment and really hear what Dr. Kimberly just shared. That if you're given that idea, that message to bring forward is because it is needed. So be willing to bring it forward. So I want you to take a moment and see, is there a message? Is there something pulling, speaking at your heart right now that you are being called to bring forward? And just write a couple notes and maybe one step you can take to start bringing that forward. And with that, we'll look forward to talking to you in just a moment.
Join Rebecca Hall-Greider every week for her new podcast, The Author's Journey. Spend some time getting to know best-selling expert authors, discuss and listen to their journey, and find out what works for them and what hasn't. If you're an aspiring author, you'll want to hear their amazing tips that help you in your own author's journey. Each program helps you discover your own gifts and bring them and your message forward. The Author's Journey. Listen for new episodes on the Voice America Variety Channel.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed those 2 minutes. You had an opportunity to really stop and think about what is being pulled on it, what is pulling on your heart, what is calling you forth, and taking a moment to feel into that and write it down in a step that you can take to bringing it forward. And with that, I want to remind you that it is not a solo journey. We are here to support you and encourage you on your journey. If you ever want to reach out and have a conversation, we're happy to do that. We love helping authors bring their books forward and launch them as bestsellers. So always feel free to reach out. We're happy to point you in a direction, make ideas on suggestions that can help support you on your journey. You can always go to our website, yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Again, that's yourpurposedrivenpractice.com to learn more. And there's a button there you can click that says Meet with Rebecca, and we can schedule a time to talk. We'd be happy to support you on your journey. And we have been talking with the amazing Dr. Kimberly Sher. She has shared how you can get her books and journals on Amazon.com. In a little bit, I'm going to have her share her contact information as well so that you can connect with her and go deeper. But before we do that, I had a couple of questions that I wanted to tap into. Especially with your expertise and what we're facing right now with the pandemic and families being much in a more closer environment, a little bit more contained than we've had in the past. Learning processes have shifted and continue to shift. Do you have any piece of advice for parents and teens today to support them, add into this environment and this kind of shifting times that we're in to help them?
Yes, there's a lot, but I want to say just one very simple tip is to have consistent one-to-one conversations with your teen. Check in with them, how they're feeling. Ask them questions about really what's going on for them. And a lot of them may just roll their eyes. They may not really talk to you as much. But if you have that one-to-one private connection and it's consistent, like on a weekly basis, just maybe you plan 20 minutes just to check in with them. Eventually, I do believe that they will open up and share with you their feelings and thoughts. And when they get validation for their feelings and thoughts, it's amazing how supportive they actually feel, and that helps give them the confidence to at least push forward through the next week or until the next meeting. So that would be my greatest tip, is really arranging some one-to-one time with your teen, and also maybe spontaneously, at least once a month, just pull them aside again privately and just let them know how much you love them and that you love them unconditionally. Maybe even share something real positive that you've noticed that they've done for someone else, those kinds of things. And again, they may roll your eyes, but trust me, they are listening, and it has impact. And that will help them also through these tough times, knowing that they're loved and they're supported.
Thank you for sharing that, and to not be discouraged or disheartened by rolling eyes, but be consistent. Right. Really important. I appreciate that. Yes. And teens, any teens out there who roll the eyes, know that we do care. And we are reaching out, and that's why we're reaching out, because we do love you and want to support you, even if you roll your eyes. Beautiful. And then I know your cover is very powerful. It's very unique, and it has this, well, I want you to describe it. I don't want to give away anyone who hasn't had a chance to see it yet. Do you mind describing it a little bit, and why that design not only was the right fit for the book, but also carries a lot of the energy of bringing parents and teens together?
Thank you. Again, this was a simple idea. I remember this thinking, Rebecca, I'm thinking of like the yin-yang symbol. And that's pretty much what it is. It's really cool. But the reason, the energy behind that is because for your teen success, it's really, it's parents and teens working together. Those are the teens that are going to be the most confident, and I believe where success is maybe a little bit easier for them because they have such a strong foundation with their parents, or a good relationship. And again, there's going to be, it's adolescence. There's going to be highs and lows for sure, and perhaps stress on the relationship. But the idea of the cover is it takes both, just like in communication, right? It's both sides to the story, not just one, and coming together and figuring out how to make the best of that.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing. I love it. I love your cover. It has a beautiful, powerful energy, and it matches that same belief and feeling throughout that book of supporting and coming together and navigating things together in a way to empower and support teens, and to know there'll be a yin and a yang. There's going to be this alive movement that pulls, but that together is incredibly powerful and alive and united, which I think is just beautiful, beautiful the way it's created. So with that, I wanted to give our listeners an opportunity of how they could go deeper with you. What's the best way for them to reach out, connect, go deeper?
The best way to connect with me is to schedule a free 30-minute breakthrough session. Just go to meetwithkimberlys, as in Sam.com, and choose a time, and I'd be more than happy to share resources to help you with your teen's biggest challenge, or to tell you more about how maybe I can help them be more successful in school and in life with some of my programs. So that would be the best way. But you can also visit my website and learn more about me at, again, www.afi4me.com.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing and for joining us today. I appreciate it, Dr. Kimberly. And listeners.
Thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely. And listeners, I want to thank you as well for leaning in, taking this time to slow down a little bit and really connect in so we can serve and support you. And I want to encourage you to take a few minutes at the end of the time together today to capture any thoughts, downloads, things that you're getting that you're wanting to bring forward. Maybe there was an insight or a breakthrough or an aha that you want to capture. I encourage you to capture it real time while it's fresh. Take a few minutes for you to write down, process in your journal or on a piece of paper. Write it down, get it out of swirling inside of you, capture it, write it down, and always look for a next step you can take to bring your message forward. I hope you have an amazing week, and we'll look forward to talking to you next Monday.
Thank you for tuning in to The Author's Journey. Please join Rebecca Hall-Gruyter for another edition of the Author's Journey podcast every Monday on the Voice America Variety Channel. And until we talk again, use some of the tips and inspiration from today's show to guide you as you lean in to bringing your message forward.